this might be a tough decision right now.
My team did absolutely
NFL games that were like, whoa. I actually don't
Had
understand.
a lot of mixed feelings.
Welcome, Disgruntled. We have another guest here on the Legal Domains.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
As long as you're doing my job, I'll do your job.
What? What's your job? Where are we? What is this location? I don't remember how to do this.
I forgot how to do a proper intro.
Yeah.
Not on Zoom.
Yeah. I guess it's the same intro, different location. Why am I on YouTube? But this is on episode 120.
We're at 120?
Yeah, we're on 120.
Only 300 away.
Only 300 away until the most epicest of episodes where we just... You don't want to see that.
You don't want to see that.
Actually, you do. That's going to be a fun episode if we ever make it to that. But
we won't.
What are we doing in this episode, Titus?
We got Danny Green here now. I don't think that was there before.
I don't think he was.
Shout out to Danny Green.
Shout out to Danny Green.
Led the Lakers to an NBA championship.
And no, not the Sixers.
Not yet.
Hopefully. Well, he's not on the team anymore, but he could have. He could have.
We'll get him back.
Eventually.
True.
But what are we actually doing with Danny Green?
We are going to talk about the NFL. So not the NBA. Sorry, guys. Maybe we'll do another episode. We won't. But within the NFL, there are some games that we predicted during the week of the 14th. The 14th week. It had a lot of games going. So many. But not a lot because 6 teams were on bye. And it's the last bye week any team could have. So now it's just going to be 16 games every week. Now some on Saturdays for whatever reason. That's right.
Apparently they started in early December. I remember when they only did it around Christmas time as like a Christmas time special. But apparently they're doing it throughout the entire month of December.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're excused. It's also because Christmas is on Sunday this year. So they only want to do like the special games on Sunday. And so this is for the week 16 at least. They're doing most of the games on Saturday that week, which will be interesting because that'll conflict with a lot of college football games as well.
That's going to be a hectic football day, college and NFL. And
NBA, they also got a whole slate going Christmas weekends, as they always do.
Probably some hockey games in there. I don't know.
Yeah, mix hockey into there.
I don't know how much...
World Cup will be over, so
yeah.
They're not going to be competing with that window.
I don't know how many hockey games are going to be that weekend, or if they do a special like the football, or like the NFL or NBA. But I think we should jump into our first game in which we both predicted the Raiders. And I personally was pretty confident in the Raiders beating the Los Angeles Rams, but the Los Angeles Rams beat the Raiders 17-16 with a...
How'd they do it?
98-yard drive, helped by field or penalties, led by Baker Mayfield.
What the fuck? Why did it stop recording?
It stopped recording?
It's a system overload, bitch.
What do you mean? What is? I remember that happening last time too.
Okay, I guess we just...
I'll just use the camera audio. I don't know how...
Here, I need a clap.
I don't know how long we've been recording for. So...
Me neither.
Sorry for the couple minutes of camera time. Of the camera audio, I mean. It is very annoying. But I remember that doing it like the last 3 minutes of the other podcast.
Maybe because my storage is really bad and that's part of it. I don't know, but we'll just have to carry on somehow.
We will. We're going to carry on like Lightyear carried on to outer space.
Amen.
Baker Mayfield, on prime time, rang in all of the NFL fans and convinced them that he's an actually decent quarterback, in which is not the case. It's not the case at all, and I'm so sad that he tricked the entire league into thinking that he's actually a good quarterback.
Damn.
And that so many other teams missed on the opportunity to pick him up when he was released. But this game should not convince you or should not trick you into believing that Baker Mayfield is an actually good quarterback. He's a backup at best. And
at best?
At best. He is not a starter in this league. You know, he's a really good backup. And that's not to take away. He did make some beautiful throws towards the end of that drive, of that game-winning drive, especially to that, 25-plus yard touchdown. That was a beautiful throw. That was a beautiful, beautiful throw. And I will not take that throw away from him. And I will not take away that he is an actually good, or he is an actual QB in the NFL. But he is by no means this Lord and Savior that's going to save the Rams, because they still have Matthew Stafford for one. This was a weird game. It was a very boring game. And the one thing that I will admit is that I could be totally wrong with this, but I believe that the Rams kind of stopped Josh Jacobs a little bit. He didn't reach over 100 yards. He got 99 rushing yards. He did get a touchdown. So it's still a solid performance, I guess. 3.7 average, but it's not comparatively to what we're used to in the last 3 games. And I guess that's one of the aspects that the Rams were able to win. They stopped the run and forced Derek Carr to throw. They stopped Devontae Adams a lot, I believe, as well. And, if you stop those two, the Raiders' offense is not that good. They don't really got anyone to throw to. Devontae Adams' stats were 3 receptions, 71 yards. Not the best performances out of Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, and I think that's one of the key aspects to why the Raiders lost, and the Rams were able to beat the Raiders. Yeah, I honestly stopped watching halfway through because I'm like, all right, I don't want to watch this boring ass game anymore. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about this one, and I just don't want you guys to get tricked over the Baker Mayfield lore. But I forgot. I will say that it's also impressive that he only had 2 days on the team and was able to play as well as he did. He still played decently good for having only 2 days on the team. And that's what I will give him props for. He had 230 passing yards, 91.4 rating, 62.9 completion percentage, and a touchdown. So, that's a solid game for only having 2 days prepared. And yeah, that's probably his cap. That's like his ceiling. But that's all I gotta say.
Nice. Then we move on to the Detroit Lions beating the Minnesota Vikings as we predicted, because we're smart. Yes. You're not. You were all like, oh, they've only lost 2 games. Minnesota's so good. They also have a terrible defense, though. I, for one, did believe that the defense was capable of some big things. Just looking at some of the names in there, like Zadarius Smith and Patrick Peterson. I was like, this team, they're rallying some good plays. They're having some of their best years, especially Zadarius. So I was feeling pretty high on the Minnesota Vikings defense early in the year. Even, putting Zadarius Smith into the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I mentioned that a couple of times through my MVP race segment. But now I think it's pretty damn obvious that they're kind of paper thin everywhere else on that defense. And you can just tear through them. And you know who's going to tear through them next? The Indianapolis Colts, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know what channel. You're going to have to figure that out.
Should probably pick up the Lions defense.
You should probably pick up Alec Pierce. He's going to haul in 2 tutties.
2 tutties?
500 receiving yards.
I can see that happening.
On 3 targets.
On 3 targets? How many yards?
500.
500? I don't think that's possible.
Doesn't matter. He'll find a way.
He'll find a way.
Because the Minnesota Vikings defense is not holding up. They're shooting themselves in the foot.
I agree. They allowed, I think, 4 straight 400-plus yard games to the opposing offenses. 4 or 5 straight games. That's
their average on the year is 400 yards allowed.
That's not good. That is not good. You know why that's not good? Because yards means the potential to score.
When it comes time for the Super Bowl. And the Minnesota Vikings are playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't like that.
Travis Kelce. Juju. I don't know the guy's name. Isaiah Pacheco. That's all it's going to be, the whole game.
Now, I ask you, if this defense is so easily exploited, how are they going to make it past the divisional game of the playoffs to make it to the Super Bowl.
What do you mean? What will be the divisional game?
Niners.
You think the Niners? Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
He got lucky.
Yeah, lucky it doesn't. Yeah, but like that defense,
So?
that Niners defense.
Justin Jefferson might surpass Calvin Johnson's record. I don't care what defense you put in front of him. That dude's a menace.
I still think that the Niners defense is the best in the league, in which statistically I think they are.
No, yeah, I mean, we know this.
And
But
you know what
Do
happens?
you trust any defense to really stop Calvin Johnson in his prime? That 1 year, he nearly got 2,000. I'm just talking about the stats because he's only a couple short from Calvin Johnson. He's on pace at least.
Yeah.
For only a couple short of that.
But Justin Jefferson is shown to be disposable in certain games, like i.e. the Eagles game, i.e. the Cowboys game.
Okay,
when
but
their offenses are completely stopped.
there's obviously outliers, and that's going to happen every season. But it's not like it's impossible. Like, he's done it against good defenses as well, so I don't know what you're trying to say.
I.e. the Jets game, i.e. kind of the Cardinals game, i.e. the Lions game.
You're stretching now.
So 3 receptions and 14 yards, it's good.
I never said that.
Lions, Eagles, he got stopped.
Listen, I'm not saying it's impossible to stop him, but I'm also saying that statistically he's having one of the best years in NFL history. So how can you argue with that? Like, there should be no argument with that because, like, you could say that about literally any receiver, but like, what does that matter in the long run?
I will agree with that. Okay, I'll agree with that. He's having a really good statistical season, and I think that he's going to do really well in the first game of the playoffs. But when he faces the Niners, I think that Niners defense can use the games that he did poorly in to their advantage and use what those teams did to be able to stop him. And I feel like I'm predicting that the Niners will be able to stop Justin Jefferson, and then they will not be able to progress.
Okay, who's to say they even run into the 49ers, though? We don't know how that's going to shape out. They could avoid them and make it to the Super Bowl. It's happened.
But
you're not always going to play the best teams on your path to the Super Bowl.
That is true. But I think they also have to get through the Eagles because the Eagles are going through that.
They're definitely going to have to get through one of the Eagles and 49ers. I will put money on that.
And I think the Eagles stopped them before. So I feel like, well, I just think my prediction is that they're going to run into the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And and the 49ers is going to stop them. Okay,
and you can have that. You can think that. But it doesn't change my point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, what is the... I don't understand. Like, so, sure, the defense can do a good job, but then on the other side of the ball, they have to match that and capitalize off of it. And we've only seen one game of Brock Purdy against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They haven't been the best this year. I know they are a great defense, but at the same time, on the other side of the ball, it just didn't seem to shape out for Tom Brady. Couldn't get them good field positioning.
I guess all in all, my main point, because I think it got kind of lost, is I don't think the Vikings are going to be able to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, I was just kind of making a jokey joke about Patrick Mahomes tearing up any team he faces.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a bold prediction that I was trying to proclaim. I was just saying, in the chance that they get that far, it's going to look really bad.
Yeah, and I was just trying to add to the jokey joke of like the Brock Purdy myth of I don't think they're going to be able to get through the Brock Purdy show.
The Brock Purdy show?
Yeah.
Sounded like more like the defense. You're talking up, which I agree. I think any of the playoff teams have a chance of stopping the Vikings, but I wouldn't bet on it, at least offensively. On the other side of the ball is going to be hell, and I think if you can take advantage of that, then you're fine. But like, I would not bet on any team to be able, because I think they are very hit or miss. You can never really predict when or when they don't, because exactly like what you said against the Lions when he didn't have the best game. The Lions have notoriously been a bad defense, and sometimes that happens. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes it does kind of rest on Kirk Cousins' shoulders, or maybe just not getting the run game going, so you have a good, fair mix. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can stop him, but it's never like you're going to be able to stop him the same way twice. Like, if they run into the Eagles, I do not think they would have the same success. They can still beat them, but I don't think they'd have the same success defensively against Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for another day. We will be able to hypothesize all of that only a matter of weeks. We're getting down to the wire now.
What?
So let's talk about the Eagles
Yeah.
beating up the Giants. Talk your shit, Caleb. You have the floor.
Thank you. I was waiting for it. You have the floor.
Yeah.
I like when you say that. Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely dismantled the 7-4-1. They're currently 7-5-1 after this game. But they are, before that, they were 7-4-1. Considered one of the better teams, or at least average teams within the NFC East, or NFC in general. And right now they're still in the playoffs, and I think they're one of the better teams within the NFC. And I don't think there's that much competition outside the top 4 teams. This really exposed the Giants for who they are. And this is what I've been saying all year about the Giants. I always said, just wait until they come and face the Philadelphia Eagles. Just wait until, that defense faces Jalen Hurts and the Birds, and Daniel Jones faces that elite defensive line, because that defensive line cannot be stopped. Brandon Graham got 3 sacks. He got a forced fumble. No, I don't think he recovered the fumble, but he got a forced fumble. He was the defensive player of the week. Jalen Hurts was defensive or offensive player the previous 2 weeks, and it just goes to show Eagles they're on a tear. Jalen Hurts pushed his MVP nomination and pushed his MVP run that much further. I believe he had 4 total touchdowns. I think he had 3 passing and 1 rushing. I believe. I forget. Hold on. Let me look up Jalen Hurts' stats because, he had 3 total touchdowns. He had 2. I'm pretty sure he had a rushing, and then he had 2 passing. And it just goes to show you how much elite power Jalen Hurts has, and for that MVP push. It's incredible to see this run that the Eagles are going on, because I've been watching the Cowboys the past few weeks and then watching the Eagles the past few weeks. I'm like, the only thing that the Eagles are really lacking is points, big points like this. And you know what? The Eagles are just like, let's just keep scoring. Let's see how far we can run up the score on this. And they did just that. 48-22. What an immaculate score. And and yeah, they almost had a 50 burger, and within the last few games they've been averaging 40 points. They had 35 points against the Titans, 48 against the Giants, and then 40 against the Packers. And yeah, and this, I don't know, it just, this game really highlighted how multiple the strength, or how many strengths the Eagles have with, shut up. You know what? We got cocky against the Colts and only scored 17. And you know what? When you play a top 5 defense, you're bound to, get exposed here and there. This just shows you, okay, all right. Yeah, but you know what? Shut up. I'm just happy that the Cowboys almost lost to the Texans, and the only reason why they didn't lose, we're going to get to this later, but the only reason why the Cowboys didn't lose to the Texans was because the Texans are tanking. And the thing that I'm talking about is that Titus compared the Eagles Colts versus the Cowboys and Colts, where Cowboys scored 50 plus points and Eagles only scored 17, but that's not the point that I'm trying to get at, is that we were still able to have a comeback win and then secure a dub, in which the Cowboys struggled against the Houston Texans and needed to win in similar fashion. And yeah, I just, sometimes you can't blow out every single team that you face. But getting back to the Eagles-Giants game, this just shows all the strengths of the Eagles, because you have Hassan Reddick getting 10 sacks for the year. Only player to have 10 plus sacks for 3 different teams year after year after year. Then you got A.J. Brown over 1,000 yards. First time that happened in Eagles history, or in franchise, since 2014. You got Miles Sanders rushing over 1,000 yards. First time since 2014 that an Eagles running back got over 1,000. 4, you got Jalen Hurts rushing for 10 total touchdowns on the year. A lot of 10s, a lot of 1-0-0s.
With a passer rating over 100, only player in history to have done that, as long as he finishes the year with the passer rating still over 100.
So the defense and offense is really destroying the league, and it just makes me really excited to be an Eagles fan, to watch the Eagles, and they secured a playoff spot. It's all coming full circle, but I'm just excited for the playoffs and see what we can do. If we get a first round bye or not, I'm excited just to be in the playoffs and see kind of the dominant performance can we do against some really good teams. But I think we're going to be able to secure that playoff or first round bye, because we just need to beat the Bears, which is a trap game, and we just need to beat the Cowboys, which I'm not too confident if we are going to be able to beat them. But that's all I got to say about the Eagles. A lot of exciting things happening in the coming weeks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I love about the Philadelphia Eagles? Nick Sirianni.
Yes.
My man. I hope he gets that Super Bowl win. And then I hope he fails for 3 straight years. Gets fired. Colts pick him back up. Dynasty.
I don't wish that, because I want to have Nick Sirianni until he retires. I want him to retire as an Eagles head coach. I want him to be on the Eagles for 30 plus years.
You don't want Frank Reich? I hear
I'll take him as an offensive coordinator, but not as
so weird if it just flip-flopped. All of a sudden he's the OC again, but for his old OC.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Now let's talk about another Super Bowl contender.
Buffalo Bills.
And they beat
New York Jets. 20-12. 2012.
2012. Like the blockbuster hit of the same name.
2012.
And in a similar way, it was a bit of a catastrophe for one certain team, the Jets. Because Mike White got hit a lot. And if you don't know, I'm going to let you know about a little something. Von Miller's not even playing right now. So it's just a catastrophe on that O-line that the Jets love and they support. They've been great in the running game, for example, doing right by so many running backs at this point. They've been letting them go off. I mean, we're at Zonovan Knight now. We're at no names, okay? Love me some Zonovan White, no hate. But as far as pass protection goes, it's just not shaping up. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird point in the season where they're all gassed. I don't know what's going on. Or it could just be that the Buffalo Bills defense is legit. Who's to say? All I know is that the Jets were at a point where they seem to be like shoo-ins for the playoffs. And now they're sitting at 7-6. And we don't know. We're not so confident anymore. Whereas with the Bills, we're seeing some ugly wins down the stretch, but they're still winning. We're not seeing as many of those like weird losses like we did in the beginning of the season. They are winning the games that they're supposed to win no matter what. And I think that's very important. I think that's something to take note of, even if you're like struggling to come to terms with the offense not being as dominant as they used to be. They're getting the wins, all right? Later down the stretch, teams are going to have more and more film to analyze, and they're going to be able to dissect you a little bit more. But as long as you get the win, it doesn't matter, okay? And you're going to get that spark later down the line. When you're in the playoffs, that's a spark in itself. Players are going to have some of their best games like Gabe Davis did against the Chiefs, all right? I'm not too worried about the Bills right now. What I am worried about is the Jets. Okay? I think there's a lot more heat on Buffalo in the media right now than the Jets, and I don't think it should be. Because ever since they went and benched Zach Wilson, I haven't necessarily seen any better performance out of this offense. I'm not going to lie. I just don't feel like it's been revitalized in any ways. We've had a lot of really interesting outcomes, and he's had some good games, but I think Zach Wilson was also able to put some good games together, just couldn't end up winning it, and looked really bad against a really good defense, as did Mike White here. I just feel like I'm not seeing anything overly like impressive for me to feel confident in the Jets offense right now. And I know, like Breece Hall getting injured, that was a big hit, and also their starting left tackle at the beginning of the season, having to fill that hole with Dwayne Brown. I get that. There's a lot of things going a lot of different ways for the Jets right now, but You were at a point where you looked like a shoo-in for the playoffs, and now it's quickly declined, and I'm a little worried for them because if they don't make the playoffs, there's gonna be some tension. Like, what do we do about this quarterback scenario that we like keep jumping around with because we had to start Joe Flacco due to Zach Wilson's injury. Then we didn't like Zach Wilson when he came back, and now Mike White's getting hit and banged up. What do we do?
They've been the last 6 games. Jets have been 2-4. Last 4 games, 1-3. Wins coming from Bears, and they did beat the Bills the first time when they played them, but
that was with Zach Wilson, by the way.
That was with Zach Wilson, so that just backs up Titus's point even more. And I think we're starting to see the league kind of catching on to their kind of how they've been successful.
Long run game.
And yeah, I think once you kind of take away that run game and force these backup quarterbacks and or Zach Wilson, which is not the best of quarterbacks to start with, to pass, you kind of put them in this situation where, yeah, you kind of need to get a quarterback in order to succeed when one of your biggest aspects doesn't fail and when teams kind of catch on to that. Yeah, it's just interesting kind of the decline, and I think those backups are catching up to them, and those injuries are catching up to them.
I will cut in briefly just to talk about Zach Wilson. Like, he's still a second-year player. We had very similar feelings about Tua in his second year where we weren't very sure about him, and now we're seeing him as a revelation because he did get to play out that season. He went on the 7-game win streak last year towards the end of the season, and now, you know, the hot start they've been on. A little dip right now, but that's okay. They'll figure it out. I think the benching of Zach Wilson was not good. I know it was more so disciplinary because of like not like owning up to his faults and not being the leader he needed to be. But I still think it could have came in different ways because that's not good for his development. In the same way that we know it's not going to be good for Trey Lance's to have to get benched. Well, not benched, but being out with injury and not having really played a full season, and who knows how long. It's been a very long time because of COVID and all the other shit. So I am a promoter of keeping Zach Wilson in the starting slot. And obviously, you know, if he has a bad game, throw in Mike White here and there to let him know that he is still, at the end of the day, you know, kind of, I don't want to say disposable because that's not really the message they're trying to get off, but to show that he is not replaceable, I guess. That he is replaceable if it comes time to it. Like, they're ready to pull the trigger if it really comes down to it. But still giving him that playtime and that experience is the most important thing for a young quarterback right now. So I don't really see why you would throw in Mike White right now when you're really vying for the playoffs and also trying to jumpstart your new franchise's success after the tragedy that was I guess it was the 2020 Jets. That shit was horrific. You're trying to bring back the spark. Zach Wilson was a proponent of that. I think there were some big wins with Zach Wilson that were very important, and now it just seems like a really weird time, and I understand the thought process with the discipline and all that, but I don't think that's good for anyone. If what you're trying to do is set yourself up for future success, you know?
Camera. I'm going to need to start the camera all over again. We've been talking. I like snapping my fingers too. It's a nice feeling. I will add on to that too, and I agree with you because Josh Allen, same effect, and a little bit of Jalen Hurts as well. And where more so Josh Allen comparatively to Tua too. Josh Allen, the first couple of years, we're like, who the fuck is this guy? On the verge of being possibly traded or cut maybe to the extremes. But, you know, he was an average quarterback. But now look where Josh Allen is. And first couple of years of Jalen Hurts, everyone was concerned about his accuracy and him being able to lead a team. But now look at where he is. So I agree. I think Zach Wilson just needs to actually play and not be benched. I think maybe just a bench for a game at most. But for it being this long, I don't agree with. But that Jets defense is still scary. And that Jets defense is young, and they're able to stop the Buffalo Bills offense for most of the game. And I know that the Bills still got 20 points, but I feel like the Bills offense was stalled for most of the game. The Jets defense got a lot of sacks, and that's a scary defense to play against. And yeah, if they have a couple pieces on the offensive side, it would be really scary to play that Jets defense or Jets team in the next couple of years. And I know I've been saying, oh, just give some certain teams a couple of years and then they're going to be really scary. But I think Jets are in the top of the league of being scary and have the greatest chance of being like actually scary within the next couple of years, like the Buffalo Bills. If they just literally are like one piece away, 1 or 2 pieces away, whereas some of these other teams need 3 or 4 or 5 pieces, then they can become scary. Josh Allen too is not having the best of performances the past few games either. And let's just see if he can get out of this flunk, because he always slips into these funks each year in and year out, where he turns over the ball a lot or doesn't really have a lot of productivity yardage-wise, touchdown-wise, and not being really able to move the ball that well. But let's see if he can get out of this funk before the playoffs come. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Cool. Then we move on to the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns, the Orange Bowl. Woo! Deshaun Watson has a chance to play a division rival. And how'd that go for him?
Not too well. Sorry, I got a little chest hiccup there. But yeah, not so well. The Bengals beat the Browns 23-10. I predicted that Deshaun Watson would get 3 interceptions, but he only got 1 interceptions for this game. And yeah, he just did not play a too well of a game. He had 276 yards passing, 61.9 completion percentage, 79.1 rating. That's a lot better than what he did last game. Not a lot better, but there is an increase in getting more comfortable after, not playing for a couple years. But it's not good by all means. And the Browns just don't look so good right now.
I mean, even Nick Chubb is not really getting going in that offense, and that's telling to me. The Deshaun Watson effect, even if he's not doing well as a passer, he's not doing good for the team in general. That's not good. And then on the other side of the ball, we have the Bengals, who they just keep impressing me this year. Obviously, that was a really weird start at the beginning of the season where Joe Burrow was just like, okay, it's the beginning of the season, give it time. And he was right. He's now pretty firmly in the MVP conversation, I would say, whereas a lot of people, he was an afterthought in these conversations for most of the season. And now I think he's solidified himself in the top 3 with Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. Tua kind of fell out of it pretty recently, and we'll get into that. They're looking really good going into the playoffs, and I'm excited to watch what they can do if they can repeat some of that crazy success that we didn't even, nobody was able to predict that last season, and now they're even better, and we know this. At the same time, a lot of teams also know they're a lot better. They know this. They're gonna hit back harder. So it's going to be interesting.
Jamar Chase had a really good game as well, and he had 10 receptions, 119 yards, and a touchdown.
He's back, baby.
Yeah, this was a really good game for the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're 9-4 now. 9-4, which is really, really good. And they're actually, even though they started their year off, but now they're starting to win these closer games. This game was not close by any means. He's starting to win those closer games in the regular season now, and when this team is on a roll like that, they're very, very hard to stop. And I just wanted to say earlier, too, about Justin Jefferson. I forgot to say this, but he had 11 receptions, 223 yards, which was, he broke the record for single game receiving yardage for the Vikings franchise record. That's off topic, but Jamar Chase just reminded me of Justin Jefferson in that stat line.
See what I mean? Yeah. Never beat them the same way twice, because you pointed out the Detroit game where he had, 3 receptions, very low yardage, whatever. He comes back, complete opposite. You can't beat them the same way twice. You can't be sure when you're playing this Vikings team. Otherwise, how else did they get to this point? Double-digit wins. Only so many teams that are at that point right now. Mm-hmm. So that's where I will, finish that conversation from a while ago.
Yes. But yeah, I got nothing else to say. Or wait, no. Yeah, I do. That's a common theme the past few podcasts. I trick you guys into thinking that I don't have anything else to say, but then I immediately, 2 seconds later, say, wait, no, I remember, I do have something to say. Nick Chubb only had 34 yards this game on 14 attempts, and he had 3 receptions. I hate how Google doesn't show you how many yards for the receptions, or how many receiving yards, but that's besides the point.
Just use fantasy.
Yeah, I should probably just use that. Dallas Cowboys versus Houston Texans. This is the battle of the cities within Texas.
That was like the worst way you could have brought up at that point. You want me to try?
Yeah,
The battle of the Texan cities.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but it's a little
Yeah,
better.
it's better than what I said. I think.
Cowboys and Texans, of course. I mean, man, when we were talking about this game, and as we, I mean, the media, we were like 20-point favorites, right? Cowboys, easy. Texans are tanking. They're not going to try. We saw that when Deshaun Watson came to town. It was no big deal, you know?
Mhm.
Browns won that. So, like, why would they try even more against Dallas? It doesn't make sense. But then all of a sudden, Houston comes around and they just
Yes, sir.
swatting balls out of people's hands left and right, making them all look silly, forcing the Cowboys to sign T.Y. Hilton. I have mixed feelings about that, but doesn't matter. Cowboys, they got the win, and that's all that matters. They have some weird performances here and there, but overall, we know what they're capable of on both sides of the ball, defense, offense. And I think the big thing we have to remember is that when they go into a game that is prime time, large stakes against a team that they're a little nervous about, that's when they play their best, I think. All right. Maybe that wasn't the case with the Eagles, but at the same time, Dak Prescott wasn't back yet. So we'll ignore that a little. When they go into games like this, they're like, okay, we should win this easy, a different scenario. But when it comes time for playoffs, you're not going to run into a team that you're not going to be prepared for. You're going to, undermine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, get these dumb losses out of the way, or dumb performances they didn't lose. Get these flukes out of the way now, because when it comes time for playoffs, we're not going to see that from this Cowboys team. You're going to have to earn that win. And I think they will. I think they could win a game in the playoffs. I'm sorry, kid. I think they may have a third matchup with the Eagles.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you. And you know why I agree with you is because I want to meet the Cowboys in the playoffs. I want to have the first playoff game that the Eagles play be against the Cowboys in the divisional round. Yeah, I want that to happen. And I will even say this. I would obviously rather beat them in the playoffs. But if that means that the Cowboys win this upcoming game, then I will be more than happy to have the Cowboys beat the Eagles in the regular season, just so that the Eagles can beat them in the playoffs. Because I don't know if we can beat them 3 times in a row in one season. And I would be way more butthurt if we lost in the playoffs against the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys fans would not be able to shut up. They would not be able to shut up. If they beat us in the playoffs and then go to the NFC Championship, I don't want that. I'm fine with the Cowboys winning a divisional or wild card game, because there's not that many good teams within the NFC East or NFC. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine if they win one, but I just want to beat them in the playoffs. That's all I ask for Christmas.
For Christmas.
But yeah, this game was definitely a trap game for the Cowboys, and I said this earlier in the podcast. The only reason why the Cowboys lost this game or won this game was because the Texans are tanking, and I think that when Dak had that second interception towards the end of the game, I think the Texans just didn't really try to get that touchdown, because that would have sealed the deal. And I think if they were actually trying, I think they would have gotten that touchdown and then beaten the Cowboys, and where the Cowboys didn't even have a chance to score that touchdown, that game-winning touchdown. But yeah, even though this was kind of a trap game and the Cowboys didn't really play to their fullest potential, and this doesn't define them as a team, I still think that it allowed some weaknesses to prevail, in which the Eagles are going to be able to take advantage of, because I feel like that coaching room for the Eagles obviously does their homework, and I think the Houston Texans did expose the Cowboys in some manners of how just expose the Cowboys in some ways. Not big ways by all means, but Cowboys are still not very beatable, but they do have their weaknesses, and I feel like I don't know. It just makes me more happy to play against the Cowboys because it's like I feel like the Eagles coaching will be able to see those weaknesses and use that to their advantage. And this makes the Cowboys a little bit less scary to play. I'm scared to play against the Cowboys. Not like scared, but like still like it's going to be a big match nonetheless. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
When we look at the playoff paths, let's say Eagles maintain this first seed spot, which obviously would mean they win the division. Cowboys are considered a wild card team. The odds of them running into the Cowboys in their first matchup are actually pretty high because the only reason they won it is as long as like two other divisional winners win their wild card round match, then they definitely would play the Cowboys, assuming the Cowboys win their first round as well. And I think that's pretty likely. I don't look at these other wild card teams and think they could upset one of the divisional winners. It could happen, but at the same time, I think as far as like the chances go and the odds, I feel like the most likely first matchup for the Eagles in the playoffs would be the Cowboys. But a lot of things can happen between then and now. Anyways, let us continue down this line and hop over to another AFC South matchup. Since we're talking about the Houston Texans, we are now talking about the Titans, who looking primed to win that division. And then the Jaguars, who really aren't playing for much at this point. You know, they could try and tank if they wanted to. I mean, it hasn't stopped them in the past. Back-to-back first picks overall. So, like, why wouldn't they want to keep adding to that arsenal? But instead, they're like, no, this is a fucking divisional rival. And we're tired of only being the Colts within our division. It's boring. Let's beat the Titans. And we're not even just going to use our home field advantage to our advantage. We're going to go to them. And we're going to give Trevor Lawrence his best game ever. And what you did, he went off. And it makes me so happy to see that. Because his other best game ever is arguably against the Colts. So, very happy with this. Shout outs to the Jaguars. I always root for them.
Wait, I think the thing stopped. I think I know why it stops.
It didn't stop.
It didn't stop? Okay, because I just had to... Okay, I just got worried with that. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I agree. Sorry for derailing that. I was just worried about the microphone stopping.
Oh, that's all I have to talk about with these shitty-ass teams anyways. We can move on.
Well, I just wanted to say his stats really quickly.
No.
71.4 completion percentage, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, 121.9 rating, and a rushing touchdown too. And the final thing that I'll say is that the Titans' losses are really bad this year. They got blown out by the Bills. I think it was like 40-3. They got blown out by the Eagles, 35-10. And then now they got blown out by the Jaguars, who aren't playing for much, like what this fellow over here just said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to say that.
They are going to have an ugly playoff game, which is what I've been talking about. I'm like, they can get all their wins now. When it comes time for the playoffs, all eyes on them. It's going to be ugly. I'm so excited.
It's going to be ugly.
It will. And obviously, that's real rich coming from a guy who's cheering for a team that is, you know, hoping for a top 5 pick in the draft and will not see them represented in the playoffs. I get it. You know, we suck, but we know this. We haven't always known this with the Titans. We know how up and down they are, but everyone's talking about, oh, best coach, oh, best running back, blah, 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 blah. What does that add up to, though? What does that add up to? Nothing. Fucking nothing. No Super Bowls. You know who has the Super Bowls? Okay. Let's look at their likely, I should say, their first matchup. When we look at the AFC playoff picture, when we talk about the Titans, they are 4th seed because they're the worst performing divisional winner as it stands right now. And so they could run into the Bengals. That's their most likely first matchup. I mean, that first 3 on here, ugly. They would get destroyed by the Bengals, destroyed by the Dolphins. I would even say they get destroyed by the Ravens.
When Lamar is back?
When Lamar's back and he's healthy,
ain't no stopping that guy.
Dimes.
Danny Dimes.
And even without him, I think they are capable, more than capable, of stopping the Titans and that rushing attack. So, yeah, I'm very excited. This is going to be great. I mean, I would love to see the Bengals just whoop that ass. Didn't they? I think they played last year, too, in the playoffs.
Titans and the Ravens.
But
With that, wait, I kind of want the Titans Ravens because they've been forming a little rivalry.
they do have a big ass rivalry. So I would also cheer for that. I love it when rivalries just happen that aren't like forced within the constraints of the division. I love when they happen outside of the division because that means it's like
Bad blood.
something really must be boiling down there. Let's move on to another rivalry, and also speaking of the Ravens beat the Pittsburgh Steelers when they were kind of schmooving a little. Steelers were looking a little bit better. We have to give them that. And Ravens were without our Lord and Savior Lamar Jackson. And so I was like, okay, Steelers win this. You didn't say this. You were like, Ravens are still going to win this. I was like, no.
I was like, Huntley all the way. He is Lamar Jackson 2.0.
And then you know what he did? He got injured. But that's okay. They still won the game.
Wait, who's their third string quarterback?
No one knows their name.
No one?
Ravens fans know.
Ravens QB. I don't care about Ravens fans. Tyler, he got hurt.
Are you dumb? You thought you were going to search Ravens QB and get their third string. Do you know how search engines work?
It's Trace McSorley. Oh, fuck. I thought I was gonna one up you, but
That was close.
I didn't know Tyler Huntley was that young. Actually, he's only 24.
He's considered a starter in the league by some executives, and he just hasn't really had the chance to prove it.
Probably not smart executives.
Oh, are we talking about Jerry Jones?
Yes. But I honestly don't have much to say. I did not watch this game too much, so I don't really know the lore behind this game. I just know the lore behind why the Steelers suck.
Oh, okay. Now we can talk about Broncos' first game over 16 points. They did it. Unfortunately, it came against the Chiefs, so it didn't matter. Anything you can do, Mahomes can do better, and that's what he did. He beat that ass.
He did beat that juicy ass.
Russ, you cooked.
Russ cooked.
But sometimes it's just not enough.
I think it just shows how bad the Chiefs' defense is, maybe?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think it shows just how good Mahomes is. Even though he did throw 3 interceptions, a lot of people are quick to point that out. Still, efficiency-wise, in spite of those 3 interceptions, he probably had one of his better games of the season. You can't look at the interceptions. Like, you have to ignore those.
I mean, those interceptions were kind of costly because they almost...
No, for sure. They are costly, but like... I mean, still, look at those stats. 352 yards, 3 touchdowns.
86.6 rating.
I mean, an 86.6 rating really isn't that bad when you consider that it was 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
That brought that down to that point. Without those, I feel like it would have been amazing.
140. And
obviously, when we're talking about looking at the big picture, you can't just like choose to neglect certain aspects of the game. But still, I think... I wouldn't let it affect his MVP race like campaign because I still feel like there was a lot of good in that game and a lot of the same Mahomes we've been seeing from him this season that has kind of been historic. We've been seeing I think whichever way it falls, Hurts or Mahomes, we're definitely going to get a better MVP, more convincing MVP than we did last year. Aaron Rodgers' second in a row was not the most convincing one. I mean, it kind of fell into his hands late when Tom Brady just shat the bed. So, yeah, I think whichever way it falls, and even if Joe Burrow, if it comes down to that, I think all very deserving MVP guys. And I want to let this one game stop us from believing in the campaign for Mahomes. It just kind of does solidify, Jalen Hurts a little bit more at the top, but it's, it's not set in stone still.
I agree.
What else did you see from this game?
Russell Wilson, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, and interception. This is, even though the Chiefs' defense is not the best defense out there, this was still a positive performance by Russell Wilson. And in fact, a performance that we rarely see this out of this year by Russell Wilson. This is kind of this is old Russ. This is what the Russ that everyone's used to. Why it gained so much attention and so much excitement at the beginning of the year of Russell Wilson coming over the Broncos and why everyone was predicting the Broncos to do a lot better than what they are is for this reason. And this type of play by Russell Wilson is what he should have been playing like the entire season. And Jerry Jeudy went off. He got 3 touchdowns. And yeah, it's Russell Wilson had a kind of a comeback too. He made it, I think it was like 26 4 3 27 to 0, 26 to 0. Broncos were able to come back. But it just wasn't enough, like you were saying, and it was crazy that kind of comeback. And I was like, wow, the Broncos might actually win this, but then Chiefs were like, haha, no, and yeah, they just won. But that's all I gotta say.
True.
Because fuck the Broncos.
Jerry Jeudy did go off, and then you had that amazing moment from Colts legend Marlon Mack, who in 2019 had a 1,000-yard season, and since then he got injured, and no one really gave him a chance. He's got picked up every here and there, but then last second, just gets dropped for another guy. And I've been waiting. I've been like, give this guy a chance. Like he's not that far off from that big season, and he's only been omitted because of injury. I'm happy that he's finally getting some of those snaps in Denver when the opportunity has come to him because Melvin Gordon's now gone. And, of course, shout outs to Javonte. He'll be back and he'll be stronger. But let's move on to probably one of the bigger headlines of the week. Brock Purdy.
He's the new Tom Brady.
He's looking Purdy.
It's confirmed. He's the new Tom Brady.
Yeah, I agree.
He had 185 yards, which is not the best by all means, but he had 2 touchdowns, 134 rating, 76.2 completion percentage, and a rushing touchdown. Oddly enough, this is the first game that his parents showed up, but it wasn't for him. Or showed up at one of his games, but it wasn't due to the fact that he was playing, because they bought the tickets before Jimmy Garoppolo got injured and before Brock Purdy was even named the starter. It was due to the fact that Tom Brady was going to be playing in this game. In fact, I heard that little story by this guy in which he could have probably told that story a little bit better, but you know what? I need to cite my story.
You told it better than fucking Adam did on Twitter, that's for sure.
How did Adam do it?
You want to see it?
Yeah, I want to see this juicy. I want you to narrate his tweet for the audiences. Okay. Wow.
Let's get into it, if I can find it. Brock Purdy's family has not traveled to many 49ers games this season, but it made plans to travel to this one today well in advance because of ... Tom Brady. Now it will get to see Brady, Dash, and Brock make his first NFL start versus the QB they plan to travel to see. It's like weirdly wordy and just, I don't like it.
That is really...
First comment was, this is one of the worst constructed tweets ever, man.
That's so funny. Oh, that would have been so funny if he ratioed him too.
No, not Chef. Not Big Chef.
Shefty.
He's got that big following, baby. What I will say is Brock Purdy's comp, and 49ers fans, you're not going to like this maybe, but I would say his comp is actually Marcus Mariota. Because Marcus Mariota... very efficient when he was at his best with like short yardage scenarios, but every now and then like throwing one of those deep ones like we saw to I think it was Ayuk, that big touchdown. Just like controlling the game very well, setting the pace, and kind of towards the second half just not being needed. That's when Mariota was at his best, when he didn't have to be on the field all 4 quarters. Just started off strong and was like, I'm going to get the fuck out of here before I fuck it up. Now he's out for the season due to an injury, and Desmond Ridder will pop in there. But I don't think Marcus Mariota got enough credit for the wins that he did give the Falcons, and some of those close games as well, because I think he was actually pretty good considering that he hasn't been a starter in a while. So I think that's a good comp for Brock Purdy, who is Mr. Irrelevant and 3rd-string quarterback. Okay, I think there's going to be some trade talks or some offseason moves for the 49ers. They're going to have to make some big decisions, because I think it would be really hard to keep all of these guys, obviously, because it would just be too much of a mess, too much ego. You have to get rid of a couple of them, if not all of them. No, okay. I just don't know how it will shape out, but it's going to have to somehow.
I agree.
let's get into the Seattle Seahawks, who lost to the Carolina Panthers.
This is an ugly loss.
5-8 now are the Panthers. And
They have a chance.
a little birdie just told me that's only one game away from the Buccaneers. Wow. Alert. Are the Panthers carried by J.C. Horn? Shout outs to him, cornerback. But no, I think Carolina Panthers are not as bad as they were under Matt Rule. And that's saying something because they also got rid of a lot of really talented people. And they're still putting up numbers. Even without Deontay Foreman, who didn't have a great game, they still got it done with Hubbard and Blackshear and some other guys in that running back room that have just been stashed away because it was the CMC show for so long. And DJ Moore showed up. I don't know if it's been to the same degree as it was that one game where he took off his helmet and risked the game for his team. But still, I think that defense is really doing a good job. And Sam Darnold didn't look too bad. They're, what is that? Like their fucking third starter of the season now?
Yeah.
Crazy.
They're showing this is the first team that a rotational quarterback room might actually work, ? Because I've seen I explained this last podcast.
I said this in an earlier podcast. They need to rotate those motherfuckers. Baker in for those check down stupid shits. All right. You throw out what's the one Temple guy that's in their quarterback room? What is his name? Blanking on it. Camera.
Oh, Blankenship.
No, that's a kicker.
What do you mean it's a kicker?
Blankenship?
Oh, yeah, that's a kicker. I was thinking about Blankenship, like the safety on the Eagles. Oh, fuck. Nah, I sat in that so awkwardly. Willis.
No, PJ Walker. I'm sorry about that, guys.
PJ Walker.
You throw out PJ Walker for those bombs, and then Sam Darnold for everything in between. I think that would have worked. Obviously, Baker's not there anymore, so forget about that. But I think they could still do that with PJ Walker. I don't know if he's injured right now, but there was some reason why Sam Darnold over him. Whatever, doesn't matter. So yeah, I've been saying that.
You've been saying that.
I've been saying that.
He's been saying that. You've been saying that well
And
long
the
ago.
Seahawks kind of falling into the same Jets trap where we didn't expect them to do well this season, and now they are. Or then they started to with a really great run game, and now it's kind of getting figured out. They're now 7-6, just like the Jets. So at one point, they seemed like shoo-ins. Now it's like, that NFC East wild card sweep. It's looking pretty good. So Geno Smith, sorry about that. Geno Smith needs to step it up a little bit because we can't just keep depending on that run game, especially when you're going to be facing some teams that really know how to stop that shit. They're going to be like, no, stick to the status quo. Throw the ball to DK, all right? He's been doing great. I know I'm not saying you haven't been. Just keep doing that. Lockett, also really good. Just keep it going. And
Lockett, Polka, Dockett.
hope it falls into place. I think the defense also, I will say, needs to step up a little bit more. But other than that, I would argue that Seahawks still have better odds to make it into the playoffs at 7-6 than the Jets right now at 7-6. I have more confidence in the Seahawks. Okay, so just don't give up on the dream of making Broncos fans so livid. I want to see it happen.
You know what? This is going to be interesting, the NFC race, because I just looked up the Giants, Washington, and the Seahawks all have very tough schedules. And it's going to be interesting.
You know what is also interesting when we're talking about these 7-6 teams that have been kind of declining as of late? Jets, Seahawks, second to last game for both of them. That's going to be a showstopper.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right,
sir.
We move on. Chargers upset over the Miami Dolphins, shutting down that offense, who really haven't been shut down at all this season other than the first 3 quarters of the Baltimore Ravens game. But we know what happened after that. All right? This Chargers team finally putting it together. doing the defensive work that I've been telling you guys about. They got to put it in because Justin Herbert needs a little bit more help, and then just let Herbert take care of the rest because he was looking good. All right, he was passing, he was throwing, he was juking and jiving. All right, put some respect on his name.
Tell him.
Both playoff teams that I'm really going to enjoy. Yes, I still believe Chargers will make the playoffs. Just you wait.
Just you watch. But I agree. That Chargers offense is really scary with Allen, Williams, Eckler, Herbert,
Palmer.
Don't
forget.
Carter. You're going to stop. No one. You can't. Impossible. Miami defense couldn't. Who else will? No one. Think about that. Analysis, calculating. Yeah. Hey, you wanna get to the next game? Yeah, I do. Hey, you wanna.
Anyways, the Cardinals.
You remember what I predicted?
What did you predict?
Look at it. Look what I predicted. Look at the Cardinals score. I got it right.
It's crazy. You want to tell them?
Last week, I predicted, we do a couple predictions for each game, and I predicted that the Cardinals would score exactly 13 points. This is on video. Wait, did I uploaded it? I uploaded it to YouTube before this game. You got the timestamp.
Hey.
We're doing the podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Broncos suck.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Go Birds.
He's drunk. That was Shoki. That was a nice guest star appearance by Trace Gates. But
never fails.
I said that the Cardinals will, in fact, get 13 points, and they did. I am a time traveler, you could say. And this is back-to-back weeks where I have some pretty decent predictions that are actually coming true, in which I need to actually start betting on because I feel like I would be winning a lot of money. That being said, Kyler Murray is out for the season, torn ACL, shamed.
Yeah, if only you could have bet on that. That way you didn't have Kyler Murray in your fantasy lineup come playoff time.
Yeah.
Looks like you have a blind spot, huh?
No, I can't have too many correct predictions because I don't want the government to get on to me that I'm actually a time traveler.
Gotcha.
Because it's like a little suspicious if I get so many predictions correct.
So are you admitting that you're throwing the fantasy league? Because I can kick you out as league commissioner.
No, I'm gonna win because I have the players that I drafted and picked off of waivers that I know will get me to the dubs.
Because you're a time traveler.
I am, but I have to make it less suspicious.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the Patriots are always just very hit or miss. It's hard to really analyze this game when Kyler Murray first played of the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say much more. Just going to say that, Patriots, when they need to, they get that dub. But when they don't need to, they lose.
I agree.
And that's just how it feels. I don't know what to say. I don't know why they've been getting a lot of primetime games. Have you noticed this? Because I have.
Maybe it's because of Bill Belichick.
Yeah, but
They haven't even been good the past couple years, or ever since Brady left.
shout out to Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones did have a very good season last year. He was a Pro Bowler.
Mac Miller.
What?
What? Like Mac Jones? I don't
No,
know.
I mean, I understand the connection, but why vocalize it?
I don't know. I just wanted to say it out loud.
Let's go into the MVP race. We got some movement. Woo! You know what I'm talking about? Let's talk about Nick Bosa. All right? Talked about him last week, but I want to talk about him some more because while everyone's talking about Brock Purdy, no one's talking about the fact that the defense puts in the work to make the blowout look like a blowout rather than a shootout because Tom Brady's Buccaneers only got 7. Nick Bosa, he's first in sacks, QB hits, and pressures. The trifecta. All right. 14.5 of the sacks, QB hits 35, pressures 44. It's like when he's not getting the sacks, he's getting the hits. And when he's not getting the hits, he's getting the pressures. And when he's not getting the pressures, he's not on the field. Because every time he's out there, he makes a difference. He's also the second in the league with tackles for a loss, which I think is pretty pretty important because we don't just want a defensive player of the year that is only good in certain scenarios, such as pass rush, but not stopping the run. When you're second in tackles for loss, that tells me you're putting in the work every down, okay? And the other thing that not even Micah Parsons can say, no missed tackles. He wraps people up and he throws them and he said, you ain't going nowhere. When my hands are on you, it's over. Anyways, Justin Jefferson is my offensive player of the year, stopping the streak of Josh Jacobs. Because Josh Jacobs doesn't exactly have the same level of performance that he has been having, but Justin Jefferson put up those numbers this week in their loss to the Detroit Lions. Over 200 receiving yards is that does it. That done does it for me, Caleb.
That done does it.
First in receiving yards, 1,500. The first in the league with those big receptions of 20 yards or over. He's got 25 of those. Think about that. How many games has he played? 13. So
13.
That's around an average of 2 20-plus yard receptions per game. That's insane.
That's insane.
Second in receptions overall with 99. And I had a little note.
You do have a
He
little
has
note.
43.4% of Vikings receiving yards.
That's juicy. That's juicy. Almost half. That's immaculate.
Let's talk about these quarterbacks now. Justin Herbert, he's back in it. 7-6. I put him back in there. That's right. Geno Smith, gone. Justin Herbert, he's been performing, all right? He has the highest volume. 561 attempts. Ooh. And still a pretty good completion percent, all things considered, 67.5. It's better than Tua Tagovailoa. It's better than Josh Allen. It's better than Patrick Mahomes. Gotta give him credit where credit's due. When you have that much volume, you're really going to see a decline in that completion percentage, but he's not, all right? And that's important. Scoring, he could up the ante there. That's been one of their bigger concerns, is not being able to get it done when they really need to get it done. But I think they're starting to solve it, starting to up the ante, right? Because everything else is there. I'm not concerned with turnovers with him as much. You know, maybe throw a little bit more deep balls out there, but at the same time, a lot of his playmakers have been out with injuries. So I understand why it's kind of a lower completion average of yards per completion. The only thing that concerns me is just getting the scoring and those big plays in there. Once that's done, which we know he can do because we've seen what that arm can do. All right? Those crazy ass throws that no one else can make. Once that's done, I think he can be an MVP candidate even next year. Like top of the list.
Top of the list.
Not just like, you know, top 6 like I have here, but top of the list.
Top of the motherfucking list.
Get Chargers some help. All right. And we'll be good. Tua Tagovailoa took a little bit of a fall. He's now at 5 when he at one point was at 2. Okay. Only 2 weeks ago was he at 2 and now he's at 5. What's happening? What's going on, Tua? I'll tell you what's happening. He's so clearly dependent on Tyreek Hill. I'm sorry. I've been watching some of those games. And in the past, I was like, okay, you know, he's still making some big plays. Getting Gesicki involved in the red zone, that's huge. Gesicki, he's on a drought. He's gone like 3 straight games without a catch, all right? Tua has not been spreading the ball the way he needs to. And now Tyreek Hill has some injury issues because he's just having to make too many plays to try and save this team and keep this team afloat going into the playoffs. And that's concerning. I need Tua to do a little bit more, spreading the ball, you know, do what you gotta do. And we know he's capable, very efficient, very accurate at his best. Just need to see a little bit more consistency because recently we've seen the inconsistency. It's been showing. Get it together, man. Playoffs are coming. That's do or die. All right. Josh Allen, I gave him a little bit of a bump just because of Tua kind of dipping. But I haven't really seen much out of Josh Allen that has been like crazy impressive that would make me say like, oh, easy top 3 MVP candidate. I just don't see it right now. The turnovers, very concerning. The accuracy, very concerning. There's just a lot. It's just been looking weird. Just not as explosive either. We're not seeing those explosive plays as much as we used to. I don't know. Something's in the water. And it don't taste good.
Tastes filthy.
I used to live in Egypt, and you can't even drink that tap water. That's what's running in those Buffalo pipelines, all right? Some Egyptian Nile water that's polluted and gross and will kill you, most likely. Call that the Pharaoh's Curse. He's got the Pharaoh's Curse. I figured it out. Joe Burrow is at number 3, looking good. He's been at number 3 for a bit now. Just doing the things I need him to do. Very accurate, the most accurate on the list. Has the rushing aspect to him and the passing, putting those together, not turning over the ball too much, especially since, those first couple of games where he was. Jamar Chase being back is just really showing you what peak Joe Burrow is like. And who knows, maybe he'll sneak into the top 2 if either one of those guys start to mess up, because I have not seen any inconsistency from Joe Burrow within the past 10 weeks, honestly. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but I feel like Joe Burrow has been at the top of his game recently, keeping them afloat when Jamar Chase was out, especially. I like what I'm seeing, okay? It's going to be a lot to get past the historic seasons from Mahomes and Hurts, but, the pressure's going to start to build up towards the end of the season, and I don't know if they'll be able to maintain some of these unlikely performances. I don't know. It could happen. Burrows may be more easily attainable over a 17-game course. So we'll see. Mahomes, he's got the volume and the yards and the touchdowns. We know. We know this. He's doing that shit. All right. Even when Kelsey's not involved, he's doing it. Okay. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. How does he keep doing it, guys? I don't understand.
Can someone tell him to stop?
And then Hurts at number 1. He's got the wins. No turnovers. Rushing and passing prowess with the high ass rating. Give me Hurts any day of the week. I don't care what you Mahomes supporters are saying. All right, I'm a supporter too. He's still in my number 2. Don't get me wrong. I see it. He's doing great. Hurts is at another level in every field, in every department. What more do you want out of a player? Tell me, what do you want from Hurts?
He's flawless.
What I would want to really solidify it is to do this against the Cowboys.
Yes.
Again.
Because
the first time was still pretty good, all right? If we get a second one of those against the Cowboys, wrap it up. Over. The MVP race could be over in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Just gotta do it against the Cowboys again, and that's a wrap.
Hurts can solidify the MVP. Next year, Yanni can solidify the Coach of the Year.
Easy.
And we can get a first round bye in just 2 weeks. Just gotta get 2 more good performances and.
Let's predict some of these Week 15 games now. It's a weird slate because we got the mix of the Saturday games in there as well, and there's no more buys, so it's a lot of games to get through. But we're gonna start with Thursday. That's only tomorrow. Wow. We just revealed that we're recording this Wednesday night.
Will I be able to upload it?
Probably not. You probably already know the result, and you're gonna laugh at us. Be like, they didn't even know.
What dumbasses. I got the San Francisco 49ers beating the Seahawks. Who do you got?
Wow,
you got this.
Right out the gate, we have a dispute. I have the Seahawks, and you want to know why?
Why?
Because Geno Smith, he's going to have the chance to really put something together against the best defense. We've been saying it. Nick Bosa. I think Geno Smith is going to be like, they all been doubting me. They've been passing me up. I've been bouncing around. I had to start with the fucking Jets. That's where quarterbacks go to die. You see what happened to Sam Darnold? You saw.
I saw. Tragic.
You just got to give me a chance on a good team with a good coach. And put it together, all right? And the other thing is for a quarterback starting out, I just don't see him... I don't see, Brock Purdy being consistent, all right? I still think he would be a great quarterback. I just don't think when he's starting out, he's going to put together a long series of really great games. You know what I mean? I think he's going to have some shitters in there. We're going to see that national television Thursday night. And that's okay. I think they are still going to win the division. It's not really going to, put a dent into their Super Bowl chase, but still, I don't know. It's going to force the defense to like try and step up a little bit more. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
Reasoning why I picked the 49ers is because they're on a roll. Brock Purdy, on a roll. That defense, on a roll. Not so much on a roll past few games. Seahawks. I think this could be another blowout by the 49ers.
Damn.
Now, our next game. Minnesota Vikings versus the Indianapolis Colts. This could be our second dispute. Or our
It is. You got me.
Back-to-back disputes. I have the Minnesota Vikings beating the Indianapolis Colts, whereas Titus has the Indianapolis Colts beating the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. It's true. And here's my excuse.
What's your excuse?
I know that the Colts are bad. And I want them to be bad. I want that. I want to get that number 1 pick. It's not going to happen. Houston Texans are going to keep it. But I want to go as high as we can within the draft order. And I'll be very happy as long as we stay within like the top 8. I think will be very good for us. So I, by all means, want to lose. I just don't see this being an easy win for the Vikings. Obviously, I wouldn't put money on this because the Vikings can obviously blow up and tear a team to shreds whenever they want. Or like every now and then at least. I just think the Colts match up really well with this Vikings team because they do have a really great secondary led by Stephon Gilmore. And their pass rush has been stepping up too. I think we're just one of the better teams against the pass in general. And forcing the Vikings to run, I don't see them being like a really great run team. Dalvin Cook is going to have to put on a performance of a lifetime. They even have Madison in there to like, step in if need be. But I just don't see us being like as paper thin as we were against the Cowboys. Like I don't see that happening twice, basically. I think we're going to stiffen up. And then on the other side of the ball, I think with how bad Vikings have been against the pass, Matt Ryan, he's going to be able to like really take advantage of that and get Michael Pittman more involved than he did against the Cowboys. And of course, Alec Pierce is only heating up those big, juicy yardage plays. We're going to be seeing a lot of those. Put Alec Pierce in your fantasy lineups. I promise you. I promise you. He's not going to let you down. And then Jonathan Taylor, obviously the X factor. When he gets going, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I'm definitely starting Alec Pierce this week. Advice from this guy.
So just listen to me. That's it. Minnesota Vikings. I understand the appeal. Don't get me wrong.
This was definitely a coin flip. I was going back and forth, but I think Vikings are mad.
Mad?
About their last loss.
Oh, Lions. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so I think that's why, solely on that, I think that's why they're going to win.
Okay. We'll see. The whole nation will be watching it because as much as it is just a 1 p.m. game, no one else is going to be playing. So Kirk Cousins, you better bring your A game because you don't want people to talk shit about you again. Every primetime game, it feels like this keeps happening. Don't want that to happen again.
Definitely don't.
Let's talk about this divisional matchup with the Browns and the Ravens. Do you think here is where Watson finally shows up? No, of course not. Ravens win. Easy.
Easy dubs. This is the first time that we predicted the same team this week. But yeah, I think that this might even be a domination. Wait, do we know when Lamar's coming back? Is he coming back this game?
No, it's not this game. It's not this game.
Not this game, but
he's going to be out for a couple more.
Even with the loss of Lamar being out for the next couple of weeks or next few weeks, I think that the Baltimore Ravens really showed that even though it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was still a divisional game in which they still won without Lamar Jackson, without their second string Huntley, and I think they've proven that they still can beat a divisional game. And I don't take any divisional game lightly, but I feel like this is the same scenario with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like the Browns and Steelers are relatively the same record, but same sort of like team this year where they're not great. They're going to fall a little bit below 500, and yeah, it's just not their year. And I think that it's going to be another close game, but I think the Ravens defense is really going to hold their own against Deshaun Watson, while Deshaun Watson still tries to get his footing without playing for the last couple of years. And I just think that the Baltimore Ravens defense is really going to show up. And Titus is telling you to play Alec Pierce this week. I'm telling you to play Baltimore Ravens defense. You've got him, start him. That's all I got to say.
Wow. And you know who I think you should start as well?
Caleb Leonza.
No, not Caleb Leonza. I think you should actually be starting Nick Chubb. I know he's been out with... he's not been out, but hasn't really showed up, I guess, past couple of games. But I think they're going to start to lean a lot more heavily on him because I think in the previous games, like while Watson was like really, I mean, clearly not doing great, he was still like not really turning over the ball too much. He was still getting away with some things. So that was able to justify the pass-heavy offense that they've bestowed upon him. But I think Ravens will finally start to like really make him struggle. And they're also not going to be they are going to be short-staffed on the offense, so it's still going to be able to keep within a range of scores where Watson won't have to, be too pass-heavy. They're going to be able to run it still, and I think Nick Chubb will keep the game close, is what I'll say. Buffalo Bills.
First Miami Dolphins.
Nope, just Buffalo Bills winning. Because Miami Dolphins, I just don't have faith in them right now. They've been kind of disappointing me. I need to see it to believe it at this point. Whereas Bills, yes, they haven't been as, dominant, but they're getting the wins, and that's all I want to see at this point from the Bills. Just coast your way to the playoffs. Let's see it. Show up when you show up there. But Miami Dolphins, I don't know. I struggle to believe that you're going to be able to repeat your success. That was kind of like controversial even in the first, I think it was like week 5 or something like that. Against the Bills, that Bills win. So, yeah, Bills are going to strike back, and I think it'll be, I won't say easy dub, but convincing dub.
Is this going to be good for the NFL's social media?
Oh, yeah. We're gonna see some juicy Josh Allen clips, all right?
Yes.
A little one to Gabe, a little one to Stephon, even Naheem Hines. Get him involved. That's my boy. And, of course, if Tyreek is healthy, we're going to see that too. Jalen Waddle, he'll go off. Maybe. We'll see.
I got a spicy little prediction.
Put it in there. Oh, my God. This is generous.
That's why it's a little spicy.
Hines will get 2 touchdowns receiving. For those of you who don't know, he hasn't gotten 1 with the Bills so far.
I think it's going to be like McKinnon on the Chiefs last game against the Denver Broncos. He went off. He got 30 fantasy points, and I think it's going to be similar, where it's kind of like a backup running back. We don't really see much of either of the running back, or we didn't really see much of McKinnon, and we haven't seen much of Hines. So I think this is going to be one of those random Hines pop-off games where he's going to get a lot of looks. But I will say, next game, we got the New Orleans Saints versus Atlanta Falcons. And can you please just pick the Saints to win this one? Oh, thank the Lord. Okay, that helps the Eagles out, because that means that the Atlanta Falcons are definitely going to win now. And yeah, do you think we really need to explain this curse? If you already know.
Yeah, we've been saying it.
Week in and week out.
Week in, week out.
If you don't know about the Atlanta Falcons curse, go back to the last episode, or the one before that, or the one before that. Watch the entire podcast so you really know the juice. But yeah, we got a curse against the Falcons, but I just hope that the Falcons win this, and so that the Saints get lower or higher on the draft picks, so the Eagles can benefit. Titus Lincoln Oldham is making a little prediction. Ritter, 2 turnovers minimum.
Saints are going to do their thing. Anyways, I will now move on to the real king of the NFC South, because it's not the Saints and it's not the Falcons. It's the Panthers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They're going to beat the Steelers. We said it. We said it right here.
We both said it. Yes.
We like what they're doing now.
They're playing really good. Steelers are playing mediocre, and not even mediocre. They're playing like dog poo-poo. And yeah, that's why I got the Panthers.
All right.
I'm going to reset the camera real quick.
Don't.
I'm going to. You can't stop me.
Damn it. Pacers are beating the Warriors. 1:33 seconds to go.
How's my boy, Steph?
Steph has 38 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So an average night. Just kidding. It's a really good night for him, but Pacers players are, specifically my boy, Mathurin, popping off. You know how I love my Mathurin.
Pacers is playing really good.
Actually, recently they've been really bad, but this, for whatever reason, whenever we play the Warriors, we look amazing. It's been happening a lot. But let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and how they're the worst team in the league.
Shut up. No, I'm joking. I want to just say, every time we play the Chicago Bears, it's always so nice because like the abbreviation for the Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles is Philadelphia is PHI and then Chicago is like CHI. It's like kind of similar.
That's okay.
I don't know why, but it's so nice like seeing that within the predictions. But this is definitely a trap game for the Eagles. And, you know, sorry, I got a little chest hiccup again. But I think the Eagles need to beat the Bears by 21 points to have a good win. It'll be a good win if the Eagles beat the Bears by 21 points.
Look at my comment.
Ooh, I need to look at his comment. He made another prediction. Win by 1 point. That would be so tragic. I'll be so mad. I don't want this game to be stressful at all. This shouldn't be stressful. And which is a recipe for it to be stressful. Because it's a trap game. But I think I'm confident just how the Eagles have been playing the past few games. I'm confident that the Eagles will play really good. They seem to get off to a hot start like they've been. 14-point lead, 21-point lead. And I think this can really this can help Hurts' odds by a lot. Well, not by a lot. If Hurts puts up the numbers like he has been, it won't bump his odds of winning the MVP by that much because it's expected. But if he plays bad, it's going to really tank him a lot. And I just need the Eagles to beat the Bears by 21, and I think we can, because like the Bears aren't playing for much. They're 3-10. They should be tanking at this point. Is Justin Fields playing?
Oh, you know it, baby.
That's the scariest thing, because we aren't good with running QBs. Running QBs are run all over the place on us, and yeah, that's the biggest. I guess one of the bigger flaws on this team is that we don't really control that running cornerbacks, because like. Tannehill is even running all over us, and some of these other running QBs run all over us. So I'm just kind of terrified with that because Justin Fields has been playing really good, and he's been rushing all over the place the past, 6 games, and that's really what's been getting Chicago Bears wins the past, or their 3 wins is probably Justin Fields like rushing all over the place, and why they are relevant in some games in which they shouldn't be relevant in, because Fields finally got that spark. The Eagles should dominate because Justin Fields doesn't have anyone to throw to. He gets sacked every 2 seconds. He has to run for his life. So if we're able to contain Justin Fields and not allow him to run, I think that's one of the ways where we can really beat the Bears by a lot. If we beat them by 21 points, we do that through containing Fields, and that defense is not good whatsoever. Bears have gotten blown out a few times this year already, and yeah.
Justin Fields is dealing with an illness, but as long as he can get back to practice relatively soon, he should be able to start.
I want him to start because I don't want the Eagle haters being like, "Oh, Fields didn't start and you play me." Like the Bears are already bad. Like I don't know. But
okay, moving on.
Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, sorry, you can do it. Sorry, that was rude of me.
No, you can go ahead, man.
No, you can go. We can. I'm stubborn. You can just do it.
Chiefs will beat the Texans. That's all you need to know. Listen, I understand what you're thinking. Like, well, I mean, they made it close against the Cowboys. Shut up. It's not going to happen again. Texans, they love their top spot in the draft right now. And they got some good options up there, okay?
Yeah.
They got some good options. They're not going to pass that up. They're not going to risk it just for the little media biscuit.
Yeah.
That would be beating the Chiefs. Because in the end, what will that amount to? The Chiefs are still going to make the playoffs. They're still going to go on their run. And for the Texans, it puts at risk that juicy number 1 spot, controlling the draft. Whereas their divisional rival had it past 2 years.
AFC South sucks.
We're the best division in the league when it matters.
Yes. And when it matters, meaning when draft picks are in play.
Yes, we love those juicy picks. And that's why the Colts have traded them away every year.
Yeah, yes.
Just kidding. No, I think I actually believe that all 4 teams are really good at drafting within the AFC South. It's just they have some bad coaches or bad development, and so we don't really get to see it too much until good coaches do come in. But I mean, think about all the great players that have come out of the AFC South and then started to really be stars outside of it. You know, Jalen Ramsey, AJ Brown, They said, "Give me the fuck out of here," and now they're popping off. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, just give me the Chiefs, and let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys having to face. He had another AFC South team, the third in a row.
I think, yeah, 30 in a row. Because they played the Colts before the Texans.
When do they play the Titans? If they haven't already, I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, second to last game.
Well, they really are going through the NFC East and AFC South. But I got the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Dallas Cowboys because Cowboys almost lost to the Texans. Jaguars are out for blood. They're not tanking. They destroyed the Titans. I just want them to beat the Cowboys. So the Cowboys have even more anger, even more prowess. I saw that.
Saw what?
Life. But I want the Cowboys to be even more mad so that they actually have more like, oh my God, we need to win. And when they come against the Eagles and play against the Eagles, the Eagles are going to beat them. It's going to feel that much more better. But yeah, that's why I got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I have the Cowboys.
Did you switch it from Jaguars to Cowboys?
Yes. And here's why. Trevor Lawrence had a really great game, and that's what I was kind of riding on, is he would continue that success. But then I remembered, they're not playing for anything. I had to remember that for a second. They really aren't. They're so outside of the playoff odds that, like, what does it matter? And when it comes to the Titans, that's a divisional rival, so they're just going to go all out, right? Against the Cowboys, I don't see why they'd really care. And I also just don't trust this team to have back-to-back success in general. I just don't see it. So, I'll leave it to the Cowboys to just keep doing what they have been doing and win games. I'll start predicting some other upsets later, I guess, involving the Jags. But this week, I don't know. I started to feel it when I went through it previous weeks, but this week I just don't. I want to get a little spicy, but I mean, you took care of it. You got it. You can have it.
Thank you.
Lions.
First, the Jets.
Give me the Lions. They're going to be 7-7. They're going to make the Jets 7-7. And then guess what? Lions, we're going to start talking about them going to the playoffs, baby. We're going to be like, oh shit, they're wait a second, they don't have a losing record? How long has that been? When was the last time? Do you remember?
I don't.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
Co-host mentality.
And then the Jets are, they'll be 7-7,
bad.
and that'll be sucky. And then they'll be like, okay, Zach, looks like we need you after all. And then Zach Wilson, he's going to go on a tear, all right? And by a tear, I mean 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
I thought you were about to, in a singular game.
No, over his last, I guess it would be 4, maybe 3.
Good math. But I got the Lions because they've been on a tear, like Titus says, and Titus explained it pretty well. I don't really got much to say after that. I think the Lions started 1-5, and now they're 5-1.
Yeah. Oh, Jameson Williams is also back. It's over for defenses. How are you going to stop this team, this offense? I don't know. Because Jared Goff has been just fine. He's been mighty fine.
Yes, sir.
Nothing amazing, but he's been putting in that work.
Yes, he has.
And then that running game, ooh, baby.
Brown?
Let's talk about how the Denver Broncos are going to beat the Cardinals, as we have predicted.
Yes. You know, I don't remember the last time I picked the Denver Broncos. It's been weeks.
Very long time.
But Kyler Murray is not the quarterback, or he's injured out for the season, like I said earlier. And Cardinals aren't playing for much. I guess Denver is not playing for much either. But I just feel like Russell Wilson has been on a tear recently, and I feel like Denver Broncos still, or I guess mainly Russell Wilson, has been playing. He played really well last game, but I think he wants to have a couple games ending the season just to set up for next year and just to kind of solidify, like, hey, I'm still Russell Wilson. I still can play football. And yes, Titus?
Oh, thank you. I would just like to say that you said they're not playing for anything. I disagree. They're playing for their fucking jobs right now because this has been an abysmal season and no firings have really taken place other than, I guess you could argue, Melvin Gordon. They're going to lay down the hammer if they need to. And Russ knows that. Hackett knows that. Whoever the OC is knows that. They're going to have to start to step it up. And here's a chance for them to show, like, okay, at least we can get a win off of a team like the Arizona Cardinals without Kyler Murray. If they lose this game, it's over.
It's over.
For that, the people I just named in our organization. Because if you can't even get a win like that, when you're coming off a win already, you know, things are looking up, then it's just like, why should I keep you in this organization?
Exactly.
That's why I'm looking at it. They need to get that culture back. Those wins for losing teams like this, those ones matter.
I agree. Las Vegas Raiders versus New England Patriots. I got the New England Patriots.
I have the Raiders.
Ooh.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you want to go first or should I go first?
I can go first.
You can go first.
I can go first.
You go first. Explain why you picked the Raiders over the Patriots.
I hate the Patriots.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Why I picked the Patriots? Honestly, just a coin flip.
Yeah, honestly. Not very climactic at all, but at the end of the day, these are both teams that they've been really weird. We don't know what to do with them. Like, you put them in our hands, we're like, get rid of them both. We don't want them. We don't have to worry about them. So we just throw out a name, and we're like, okay.
Yeah. Los Angeles Chargers versus the Tennessee Titans. I got the Los Angeles Chargers because...
fuck the Titans.
Titans have been looking really, really bad. Chargers have been back and forth inconsistent, playing below average, I would say, in which they should be playing above average because I have an above average roster. And Titus and I have been really confused all this year about why the Chargers don't have a better record, but I think this is another good game to really to really show the NFL world, the universe, NFL universe, that, hey, we're the Chargers, and even though we've been playing below average, in which we should be playing above average, we're still the Chargers, and we still have one of the best offenses in the league, if top 3, top 5, even top 10 at worst. And I just think, I don't know, I feel like Eckler's going to go off. I feel like Keenan is going to go off. Williams is going to go off. It's going to be a really good day for the Chargers offense.
It's beautiful, man.
Did the Pacers win?
I'm looking at it.
I just assumed that that's what you were looking at.
Pacers won. Warriors suck. Get fucked. You all are a terrible fan base. All you Golden State Warriors fans. I hate you.
What was the score?
126 to 119.
Ooh, that was a pretty good score.
I mean, we were up 74.
What? 74 points?
No, not like... It wasn't like a 74-point deficit, but like at half, we had 74. I should have said it like that. At half, we had 74 points.
That's insane. Damn.
Yeah.
That would have been like 148 if you replicated it in the other half.
Yeah, Warriors started to toughen up, I guess. They went.
Yeah.
Mathurin had an amazing game. Let's see what the world is talking about as far as Mathurin goes, because I love this dude.
Do you want to record another podcast tomorrow about the Pacers?
This is December 5th. I need latest, sir.
What is the Twitter world saying about your boy, Benedict?
They're saying Benedict Mathurin.
Is God?
No, it's just that. Just Benedict Mathurin. Like, I'm not even lying. That's all.
That's good news.
Why can't I get from recent? Oh, here we go.
He figured it out. Don't worry, guys. Oof. I've been having a lot of chest hiccups. How did they only have 34 points? Damn, with 10 minutes left in the second quarter, that's insane. They must have went off. Do you want to talk about the Pacers tomorrow on the podcast? Or make like a separate little sneaky episode? Question mark? Hello? No? Fine. I just wanted to make more content with my boy, but I guess he doesn't want to make content with me.
Because, I mean, it would just be me talking, and you'd be like, wow. That would be it.
Well, I mean, I could like ask you questions. I mean, I feel like but
I feel like it's a weird point in the season. I don't know I don't think this is the right time to do it.
Okay.
At a different point. Because like once the NFL's over, we can talk about basketball all we want. You know, Super Bowl.
That is true. But let's actually get to the NFL, and which is why this.
Sorry, I just had to take a break because I love Benedict Mathurin. I love Andrew Nembar, the other rookie that's been showing up. I love Miles Turner, who I hope we never trade. I love Buddy Hield. He was nominated for Player of the Month randomly. Or maybe it was a week. Could be wrong. Who also I love? Oh, how can I fucking forget? I love the man.
The myth. The legend.
Oh, you know. You want to say it?
No, yeah, I think it would be you.
Oh, you don't even know. Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, you think
Dude, of course. Come on, how do you not know?
You think I've been paying attention to basketball? Bitch, I only pay attention to basketball when it's a playoff season.
Lame.
Side note, do you want me to sharpen this, or do you like the aesthetic of this pencil?
So when I sharpen it, I use a knife, and that's why it looks like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I have a pencil sharpener, and
why?
No, that's why I was asking you, because like I just really like a smooth like pencil, and it's
but I have a knife, so I don't understand.
That's why I'm asking you. Do you want to keep it like this, or?
I'm fine.
Or make it look like clean, like this.
What do you mean clean?
Clean as in like a clean pencil.
This looks cool.
All right, cool.
This is for cool people.
That's why I was asking.
This is for nerds. Let's talk about the Bengals and how they're going to beat Tampa Bay and ruin their playoff odds. And then we're all going to be talking about, like, oh, shit, Panthers to the playoffs. And then Baker's going to be like, huh? And Christian McCaffrey's going to be like, huh? Who else? Matt Rule's going to be like, oh, I'm bad. I'm real bad. How'd I fuck that up?
I think that the Bengals are going to go off this game and dominate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like how the Buccaneers were dominated last game. So it's going to be back-to-back dominations, or getting dominated back-to-back weeks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. And I think Jamar Chase is going to go off. Wait, what did you make about Jamar Chase?
I didn't.
Oh, five total touchdowns from Jamar, or Joe Burrow, I meant to say.
Yes.
And I'm going to comment that Jamar Chase, 200 yards and 1 TD. Wait, how do you spell his name?
Comment.
What?
Comment.
Oh, how do you spell it?
Can I not edit it? It's a capital M as well and 2 R's.
I was close.
But anyways, yeah, I agree. It could be domination. But as far as the NFC East goes, we got the run back pretty quickly between the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants, who are both at the same record as they were when they first faced off a couple weeks ago. Also, due to a tie that occurred between them, they are 7-5-1, which will make one team 8-5-1. Doesn't sound that bad, and the other team is 7-6-1. Kind of sounds. I don't like that. So this is very important, I believe, and we actually both ended up choosing the exact same team we chose 2 weeks ago. I think the Giants will get the job done now. Daniel Jones masterclass. I'm gonna say Daniel Jones.
I like when you type.
300 yards. Damn. Passing. I don't think he's done that whole season, but we'll see.
You gotta, you know what's this is insane. The Giants' schedule is so insane. The Giants played NFC East teams or divisional games in 4 straight games. They played the Cowboys, they played the Commanders, they played the Eagles, and then they played the Commanders again. So it's been a tough schedule for the Giants because divisional games within the NFC East is definitely hard to win. This is another dispute. I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disputes so far. Yeah, I just think Washington, same reason as I had before. Heineke's going to ball out, and Heineke's going to be like, bitch, I don't want to fucking tie. I want to win. He's got revenge in his eyes. Green Bay Packers versus the Los Angeles Rams. Last game that we're going to be predicting. And yeah, I predict the Green Bay Packers. Imagine if that was filled. That would have been deadly.
That would have been game over.
But I got the Packers winning. I got the Packers beating the Rams. And I think, I don't know, I just like Watson. That's who I'm rooting for on the Packers now. And yeah.
I'm going to clip that and make it seem like you're talking about Deshaun.
Please don't. I'm talking about Christian Watson. He's the receiver for the Green Bay Packers. And that's who I was talking about. Not Watson, the douchebag. I was not talking about Deshaun Watson. So there's the context. So when you do clip it, they can go back to this podcast and see that I was talking about Watson, the receiver.
You think they go back to the source material? Do you know the internet at all?
No, but just to save myself for legal reasons.
I don't think that's okay. Anyways, Packers, Rams. I'm gonna give Baker Mayfield 2 fumbles.
Lol. I forgot that Mayfield was on the Rams. I'm gonna give I just need to know how to spell Watson's first name because I don't know how to.
Christian.
You
know how to spell Christian?
I'm not a Christian, so why would I need to? That was a bad joke. I'm going to pretend that I didn't say that joke because that was just a bad joke. Okay, Christian Watson is going to get 1, 2 total TDs. There. Christian Watson's going to get 2 total TDs. 1 rushing, 1 receiving.
Oh, cute. Spicy.
But that's all we got.
Yeah, I quit.
You quit? You want to talk about fantasy a little bit?
You can talk about it. I always have one thing to talk about when it comes to fantasy. And you want to know what that is?
What's that?
I'm so good. My God.
Wait, what's this? Wait, why did you add it? Another little thing here. Wait. Oh, okay. I see what you did here. Like the top performing, and then points. Wow, this
It's
is
just
cool.
the averages over the year.
I like this. I like this. It's a cute little thing. Ultimate score. I'm so low. But okay. So it's the battle of the Calebs. Nothing has changed, but I just have no faith. I need luck. I need 100% luck on my side. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching. I really have to go pee because I drank 3 different drinks on this podcast. Water, coffee, and Dr. Pepper.
I didn't even realize you had those containers.
Magic. They're right there. Right there.
This guy's a madman.
Madman. All right.
All right,
See you.
bye guys.
Bye. See you next week. Love you. No, I don't.